This is the final resting place of Heather Phyllis Levitt, beloved child. Heather was only 10 years old at the time of her death, September 14th, 1951. When Heather was born, she was born with a congenital heart defect. Now, I'm not sure what abnormality, what medical term to use in this, but to break it down into layman's terms, her heart wasn't able to pump enough blood throughout her body to oxygenate it properly. There was a term for this back in the olden days. It was called blue baby syndrome. And her skin had a blue tint, a blue hue, if you will, because of this. Not enough oxygen coursing through her blood. And on that date, September 14th, 1951, Heather, who was a very sickly child, found it oftentimes strenuous to even go outside and play with other children. And a lot of times she would stay home because she would often be tired. On that day she was at school and she was in the hallway and she collapsed. And they brought her to the nurse's office, and that is where she died. She died of a heart attack. 10 years old. Not given really much of a chance to live a normal life. I could not look at that face. I could not look at that face without coming here. I couldn't. I was not going to leave Indianapolis until at least bare minimum, if anything, I just visited her. That was all. And you can see stones on top of her grave right here. That is oftentimes a Jewish custom that we do. It's in remembrance of the person whose grave you're visiting, and obviously the person leaving the stones is her brother right here, Ralph Levitt. He was 13 years old when she died. Judging by the marker, I'm going to assume he's still alive. And you know, you're talking about going on 74 years. 74 years ago that she died, and he lost his little sister. From what I could see, that was his only sibling. Sometimes a story does not always need to be some gruesome murder or a weird way somebody died. I know that's my content. Sometimes it's a look in the picture. It's like a time machine, like looking at her picture. It's like you're there looking at her. I can only guess what the surroundings looked like. Was she at a photo studio? Was she taking the picture at school? And you would have the man with the camera or the woman, and then somebody would say, "Hey, look at me, and smile." And that's what she did. I'm only gonna guess that she was just like any other child. She liked to play outside. She had friends when she was feeling good. And she had Barbie dolls, or maybe she wanted to be a mommy when she grew up. And that day of the picture, her mother dressed her up and did her hair to take that photo. You know, I will tell you this. I will conclude the video. I'm going to wrap it up right now. I'm one of the luckiest people in the world because I get to make a living doing what I do, what I love the most, which is visiting cemeteries. Everybody has a story, good or bad. There's a lot of good people here. There's some bad people here. As a matter of fact, I was at the cemetery across the street yesterday visiting the grave of somebody bad. And it's always refreshing to visit the grave of somebody that was good. And they were not given a fair shake at life. And that is all I have to say. So, rest in peace to this beloved child. And I do hope that Ralph continues to visit her grave. All right, guys. I'm out of here. God bless the dead.